Got it. Okay, so real quick, you guys, let me get rid of this guy here. So I'm going to go ahead and skip this video. We're going to leave it until next time just because of the setup. We don't quite have everything here to be able to hear. We're going to get mad feedback. So I'm going to share that at the next meeting. So don't feel like you're getting left out. Okay. Just a reminder, we're having our January kickoff here at the office. We want to help get you guys into production as soon as possible here at the beginning of the year. So all of you are getting little tickets. Many of you guys already have. And Deborah, I don't see any on the chairs and tables. So let's make sure, message Sophia and have her start handing those out. You're going to get little tickets to enter in our raffle drawing for doing many things around the market center. They're going to help increase your business. For example, like 1, coming to classes. 2, coming to the masterminds later on today. 3, seeing you in here working, script and role playing, etc. We're going to help reward you as a leadership team and as a staff by giving you enters into this little drawing. We're going to have a bunch of fun prizes that's going to happen when we draw on the, thank you, Deborah, on the January team meeting. I'm sorry, February team meeting of the first of the year. When you guys get these little slips, put your names on them and then drop them off in the fun little January kickoff box that is up by Sophia at the front. Okay, so good job for being here. Great, next up, we'd like to welcome our January newcomers that we've had so far for this month. So we do want to welcome Gerardo. I don't see him in person here, but if he's on Zoom, we welcome him. He is a friend of Brandy there. There you are. Yes, for many years. So welcome, Gerardo. Yep. And then Shireen. Shireen is starting her business with us. She's a friend of Trudy Calasia. So if you guys know Trudy, Shireen's a great energy. She's really excited to get started. So welcome, Shireen, if you're on Zoom. We actually have Gary in person. Welcome. So Gary is an amazing guy, a background in safety and things like that. And they got into real estate, right? I actually, by proxy, know Gary through the theater. He's a very talented actor. Sideline, he was meant to be here because, again, his name is Gary Williams. Come on.
Oh, explain it.
Yeah, I know. Explain later. Gary, what do you see? Tell us a little about yourself.
Well, thank you for welcoming me into the Keller Williams family. A little bit about me, as Halley said, I spent the last 30 years in construction safety, commercial construction. So if you have issues or questions, I can, I know a little bit about the construction process. Was laid off last October from a job that was paying me ungodly amounts of money, so I'm very bummed about that. But I have the opportunity to make even more here. Been licensed since last April. Passed my test the day after my 60th birthday. As Halley said, I'm also an actor. I do a lot of stuff over at the Long Beach Playhouse. So come see me.
Yes, welcome, Gary.
Come see your show.
And your name is Fate and Destiny for this place. I love it. And then, of course, lastly, Rita Cambarian. Some of you guys may recognize her. Her name. She's a very large agent up in the LA Calabasas area, top producer. So we're excited to have her as a part of the team. I'm not sure if you're on there, Rita. Welcome. Great. Moving on. Bucket fills. Let's start with a little good feeling here with our market center. Who has a bucket that they'd like to fill? Shout outs. Simon.
Morning, how's everyone? Great. So this past weekend we had our ALC retreat. So I wanted to give shout out to the leadership and all of the ALC. It was jam packed with a lot of stuff, and what was really fun and exciting was, the collaboration amongst the ALC and the communities that we're trying to build and pour into our agents. So, that's one of my shout outs today.
I love that. Thanks, Simon. You actually took one of my shout outs, but shout out to the ALC. Simon was so right. It was a very good group of people, top producers that literally spent hours focusing on how to make your office better. And I think that's so important because they're using real world factual experiences to be able to bring things, and they ask lots of questions. Why is this this? Why do we do this? And to have an ELC that's so engaged is gonna help all of us from the top down this next year to really make sure everyone is represented and excited. So thank you. Donna, any ahas or anything you want to share? Or I know Penny, you're on the Zoom a little bit, or Richard?
I know for myself, it was, we were with the two other offices, so, every office does things differently, so really hearing some ideas and inputs in all the hearings and all the different groups that we sat in, I think that was incredibly helpful.
I love that. That was great. Richard? Penny?
No, I just like to kind of, I said, just cooperation between the offices, figuring out how to make our office better. I like good ideas that should be implemented.
It would kind of beat Civic Estates numbers.
Oh. We have a few new guys. Wow. You guys have actually, when I went home and pulled a bunch of numbers, which we're gonna talk about, that we beat them in almost every category and say. From this last year. Leslie, do you have anything to share?
I'm excited, as a first time member to, get some ideas out there that I think would, really make sort of impact for our office. I'm excited for change.
Good.
I love change.
Us too. Cheese is good. Cheese is healthy,
Yeah.
right? When that's in a good way. Penny, any comments or anything?
I didn't get to go, so I just got on the Zoom. I think the one I listened to was the wealth building.
Yeah.
It made me stop and think about what my husband and I doing for our wealth.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe, we always say, oh, I'm going to invest. Not to be so scared about trying, not just in California, but it made me think about looking at other states and possible investments.
Yeah, I love that. We should always be expanding that opportunity. She also shared in there something that I liked. This is Beverly Steiner that came on and spoke, where she had talked about putting away, essentially she's running profit first. She didn't use that name, but essentially money comes in and then she separates it into different categories and different buckets. And when she was talking about saying things like, I constantly take out 10% from every income that comes into my household and set it aside for charitable giving. How many of us do that? Many of us will do it sporadically though, right? Someone comes, ding dong, knock on your door, kids, hey, buy a bunch of wrapping paper, do whatever. And then it's just $50 here, $100 here, $500 there. But when you set things aside and you literally scoop it off the top, it allows you to be able to really track all of that money and make sure that it's going in a purposeful way. And it's going to impact you much less on a smaller micro scale. So we did love that when she was sharing that she automatically just always took off the top to put it away. Some of you guys might do it tithing or things like that for your church. It's the same concept, right? For no matter what the charitable giving is. I love that. Any other buckets you guys would like to fill? Yes.
I would like to fill that, for you new people that are here, this office isn't just about business. I received some really, really sad news, just after Christmas, just before Christmas. Really rocked my world. I lost a friend who was only 38 and she died breast cancer, only diagnosed 7 months. She passed away, and the news just rocked me to my core. And Deb was there. I'm choking up now, but Deb was there to give me a hug. So for you new people, this office isn't just about business. They care about you personally as well. So thank you, Deb. Thank you.
I love that. Thank you. Yay, culture. Susie.
Brandy for her handyman. He came and hooked up my washer and dryer, which I desperately needed.
Man. The Brandy man.
Yeah.
I love that. Great. You guys, Brandy's always so helpful here in the market center that you could always go to her and say, hey, do you have this or do you have this? She's always so helpful for making sure that she gives you what you can. You're very generous. Thank you. Anyone else? Lots of good deals today. I love this. Okay. Moving on. Okay, great. Let's go through our closings that we had for this week. So congrats on your closing. Charles and Lindsay on Brightwood, Jasmine Duran on Balham, Tim Majka on Mount Shasta Drive, Stacy Ocampo on Hawk Drive, and then Brandy Adair. Congratulations. So these are our closings that we had this past week. And what do you think that adds up to in total volume? Where's my drum roll? Thank you, Deborah, for leading. That leads up to 4,090,000 in volume this week that our office did. So congratulations. Thank you for contributing. And it's good to see that transactions are still happening. It seems, Cindy, a little bit like things are kind of picking up, right? Good, good. I like the word loosening. Yeah. It's a little bit more flexible, I think is the important part, right? But congratulations to everyone who had a closing this last week. Shout out to our December closings. Those of you guys that had closed a transaction this last December. You guys are on this list. Congrats. Round of applause. Shout out to our top producers for December. We have top sales volume, Lindsay and the David Green team, Van Wig and Associates, and Kendra Miller. Congrats. Top units closed. We have Lindsay and the David Green team, and then Van Wig and Associates. Highest sales price, we have the Venusian Group and Debbie and Rob Feldman and Kendra Miller. And then our rising star is Miss Ray T. And if you guys don't know who Ray is, she's a bundle of sunshine and energy. She's a good, so congratulations. Not sure if you're on the Zoom. Okay, great. So this happened on Friday. Who went to the Shift into Overthrive? Great. There was a big group of our office there. We actually the largest number of agents at the event. So kudos and round of applause for that because you guys saw the value. We just kind of want to go over a little bit of recap and notes and things that we want to share. So anything while I'm pulling my notes up that I want to share, anything from you guys that attended that you'd like to share, ahas, things that you took away? Donna and then Leslie.
I think it was Jason who said, if you have a database and most of your business by referral, like I do, log on your database this year. And if you, don't have a lot, doesn't matter what you do, if you're on the other side, just do everything. Do open house, do door knocking, whatever. That was really helpful to hear that the sky, we know the sky is not falling. Just reposition, re-strategizing and rethinking and repositioning ourselves to take advantage of the opportunities.
Just to add on to that, what he said about the sphere and the cultivating your people, he said, if you're not calling your people once a quarter, they aren't your people. Yeah. Right? Again, let me say that again. If you're not calling your people once a quarter, then they're not your people. Right? Sometimes we claim, oh, they're my person. And next thing you know, you see this thing on Facebook that said, we just moved, right? We may think that we have this relationship built up in our head, but if we're not in active connection with them at least once a quarter, they're not our people.
Somebody else is calling.
Someone else is calling them, I guarantee you. All you guys that are hungry and pulling lists and names of people. Leslie?
For me, it was a chart he demonstrated that showed agents who were actually using a database the way it's intended to be used, with as little as 201 leads in your database on a drip, on a smart plan, being used in some way, you have the opportunity to make over 6 figures a year.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked about it a little bit in the leadership breakout, which happened right after. Leslie, I believe this is the graph or the chart that you're referencing. Now we know these aren't California numbers, and he talked about it in the leadership hub that they're actually going to create California numbers. Okay. Because we know that, GCI of, even some of these middle ones aren't really realistic. You're getting this by maybe doing 1 or 2 deals a year, right? So they're going to reflect this, and this is going to be updated. But what Leslie's talking about, and it's kind of hard to see, but this will be posted later, talking about the 201 plus club, which, is essentially saying that every person who has 201 or more contacts in command, there is a significant correlation between that size and your income, right? And one of the reasons that correlates is because of all the tools and systems you have within command, like smart plans, like automatic touches, like sending them your website, etc. So you can see here on the graph And many I know talked about this a little bit before in the correlation between cappers, but you can look here, the number of agents that fall into each one of these categories, and you can see that zero contacts, there's 33,000 agents in Keller Williams that have nothing in command. Now, remember, we have to create a contact to create an opportunity, aka get paid. So we know that you need at least a couple of those a year, assuming you're doing a couple transactions a year. Then the next one is 1 to 10 agents or 1 to 10 leads in command. And look, the average GCI is only about 14,000, 23,000 a year. Right when you get into this 201 range, so you keep going incrementally until you get to the 200. So when you go to the 201, this is when you're making significant money. And there is a big jump from those who are only have 101 to 200 to 201 plus, right? So we see here that about 30,000 agents have 201 plus contacts or more, and their average GCI is 119,000 a year. Again, this is non-California numbers. So most likely this is inflated even more. So this basically says if you put the work in, you will receive life and money and abundance back. Okay, great. And again, we're going to send that out. We're going to talk more about the 201 plus club in the future. I love it. Who else has an aha that they'd like to share from it? Things, yeah, Cindy.
1 out of every 5 transactions was closed by a KWH.
Yeah, I wrote that down too this last year.
Yeah.
Very powerful. 1 out of 5 transactions last year were done with a Keller Williams agent. We are one of the most brand recognizable companies in the world. 1 out of 5. I love that. Deborah, anyone else?
Yeah, he had talked about open houses, which, you know, we're all doing everything we can to get back to those. And door knocking prior and letting the homeowners know that I'm gonna have an open house, there's gonna be a lot of traffic, make sure you keep kids out of the street, yada, yada, yada. Really pitching the open house. And then he goes and knocks after the open house and says, hey, I just want to let you know, we had an awesome open house. However, our challenge now is that we have 4 buyers than we do properties. Do you know of anybody in the neighborhood that might be thinking of selling? And, you know, now he's out lead genning right after the open house. So, you know, I don't know if any of you have ever tried that. I've heard people say about it, but I don't know anyone that's doing it. So it's very clever and jump on it.
I love that. Anyone else? I have a couple more. Donna touched on this one. And then Chrissy, I'm gonna have you come up, just by the way, I forgot, sorry. Donna, the one that you said, be the calming presence for your clients, right? Most real estate news and facts that they're consuming are very doom and gloom and very negative. And most likely they're done by a person who actually isn't qualified to receive or share this data and information, right? They're taking something that some economist had said and then they're putting their own spin on it. Are they active realtors most of the time? No, right? They're people that are sitting there just reading and churning out these articles. Be the calming presence for your clients. When you have that high stress environment and you can feel the stress and you can feel the pressure, your clients do. And then they question whether or not it's a good time to buy or sell, right? So be the calming presence for them. Oh yeah, the other one I was gonna say, he shared the most powerful weapon that we have as agents and as leaders is influence. Again, the most powerful weapon that we have as agents or leaders is influence. What does that mean to you? How does that apply? What does that mean to you? Having influence.
You can make things happen.
Yeah, you can make things happen. I love it. What else?
Swaying decisions.
Swaying decisions. Being that trustworthy person. You have influence on them, right? Anyone else? What does that mean to you? Deb?
Well, I think you have to work hard.
Say that louder.
I think you already have influence to start if they're deciding to work with you. You know, if they chose you to be the agent that you're trusted to be the guiding person to put through the whole process.
The difference to me, and I love that, Lenny, and that's what I get from this statement, is when a client, has anyone worked with a client where the influence is the product, aka the property? Has anyone worked with a client when they're like, I'm working with you because of this property, I want this, I need this, maybe they saw it at an open house, right? Richard's shaking his head. The difference is you being the influence. So it doesn't matter if they lose out on this house, they're still gonna work with you. It doesn't matter that maybe the 10 listings that they sent you on Zillow aren't available anymore. They know that you're gonna be the one there to trust to be able to fulfill their needs. That's what influence means. Don't let them be tied to the inventory. We can't control the inventory. We'd like to think we can, but we can't. Think about having influence with your clients. That's a lifelong relationship too. It's not just a one-time deal. Having influence. I love that. Anyone else? Any other ahas or comments?
No, you asked on the influence, you know, take it to your personal too. I'd love to think that I influenced my daughters, our children, you know, for all the great decisions they've made, and then those that weren't so great, I think their father probably didn't. Seriously, it is, it's a true compliment to each of us when we are able to experience that influencing others. So, you know, keep at it, keep sharing, keep learning, because that's when you're going to begin to really impact others' lives as well. So
I love that. Well, on that note, let's wrap that up again. It was a great event. I hope you guys all had a good time and you took away lots of nuggets. I know I did, at least for the leadership portion and then some parts. So just make sure you're having this conversation with your neighbors. If you guys didn't feel comfortable to share, go back and look at your notes. Share with your fellow agents. It's all about collaboration. Ask someone if you didn't get a go that was there to see their notes. Talk about what their takeaways were, etc.
So we do have a PDF printout of everything also.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Good. Yeah, we do have a PDF printout, so we can get that for you guys if you didn't get it. Okay. Great. So I'd like to move on to something. We're going to go a little out of order. Christy, why don't you come on up here? First of all, you guys, round of applause for Christy because she brings us the best breakfast. So fun. So why don't you go ahead and take the floor?
Hi, Christy B, over Public Home Protection. So this past year taught me a lot. The word impossible, like, has literally been deleted from my category of vocabulary. I saw 3 major natural disasters. I was in Bermuda for a hurricane. I was in Texas. I literally saw a tornado across the street from me that took the roof off the bank, and the bank was like maybe to that wall back there. And I was in Hawaii on my honeymoon. I'm sitting on the beach and it's pitch dark, and I see this orange glow, and I'm like, that looks like lava. And the entire time I'm obsessed with volcanoes. And the entire time I'm like, is there any active volcanoes? Is there active volcanoes? They're like, no, you're crazy. I'm like, okie doke. And my husband's like, that's impossible. I'm like, it's either that or a UFO. And he's like, well, it's probably not a UFO, but it's definitely not a volcano. I'm like, okie doke, but what is this orange glow that's just not going away? And we wake up and sure enough, the volcano had slowly erupted. And we were fine, of course, but it did change the visibility to where we weren't able to take the same flight that we were going to do. And all of these things people told me were impossible when I was in Texas. You know, my husband's manager is like, no, we get tornado warnings all the time. Don't worry about it, it's no big deal. Here we are looking at a tornado. And while I'd like to say that service with a home warranty company is always going to be perfect, that's impossible. So my point is this: if something goes wrong, please don't call the 1-800 number. Please call me directly. That's what I'm here for. I'm not just an order taker. My job is to make sure your homeowners are taken care of after the close of escrow. If something goes wrong, because I can't promise it'll always be perfect, I can't promise you won't always be ignored. You will always be taken care of, and I will treat your homeowners the same way you do. The best way for me to do that is for you to order the right plan. If you're writing up to 500, home warranty plans no longer cost $500. The price of parts, labor, and replacements have doubled in the last 3 years. And I know it sucks, and I know that this market is extremely competitive. I know that you guys want to keep low amounts in the RPA so that your offers are accepted. But the flip side to that is after the transaction closes, and we need to replace a furnace or a hot water heater or something really important to your homeowners, when they find out you could have paid us a little bit more and got them a bunch more coverage, it affects everything, right? And while my job is always to make you look good, the best way for me to help with that is to make sure that they get the accurate plan. The new plans, including roof and 13 months instead of 12, the platinum with washer, dryer, refrigerator are $900. We have lesser expensive plans, but if something needs to be replaced, which many times they are because parts are no longer available on a lot of the systems, you're getting the extra roof coverage, you're getting $1,500. The extended pipe leak coverage, which goes to the front door, to the sidewalk, for the gas, sewage, and water lines. There's a lot of coverage that looks like minimally because it's 5 little boxes, but these little boxes are high dollar, high ticket items that your homeowners are having to come out of pocket for if they don't have that platinum plan. What plan you choose for your homeowners is so much more than if there's appliances, because we spend more money on plumbing, heating, and electrical than any other trade. So if you need something special, if you want me to talk to your seller about the importance of a good plan, talk to your buyer about what they're actually getting, about setting proper expectations, whether it's red hot or not, hand them my cell phone number, have them call me, let the liability go on me and off of yourself. This is a 14-page brochure with small writing. It is a lot to learn. So if we're saying things like, Crystal, take care of you, don't worry about it, covers everything, that's a really high expectation to meet, right? So if we use words like it helps cover a lot, that help, really set the expectation and lets me, exceed their expectations instead of coming under. So if you have questions, you want to talk, Google me, call me on my cell's on my card. I'm all over Google. I come up on the first page purposefully. I'm on Insta, Facebook, Zoom, however you prefer to communicate. I'm here to come from a place of contribution. So if you need me to talk to somebody or you got a special situation, give it to me straight and let me help. I've been doing this 12 years now. I've seen a lot from up to down like this. So I'm always going to make sure that you guys shine because that's my job. I have these $85 gift certificates for first responders and military families. I left a small stack in the brochure stand behind you. After the close of escrow, should something go wrong or they want to utilize the rekey, they can use this instead of paying, and that way they're not coming out of pocket to $85. But most of all, I just appreciate every single order. It really does. Every single one means a lot, and I'm just grateful to be part of this family. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Christy. And thank you for the back. That one is. I love it. Okay, new listings. Let's go over our new listings since last week. Tim Matchka has a new listing on Lakewood. It's 5763. Sorry, my glasses. Eccleston Street in Lakewood. 3-bed, 2-bath. It's listed at $799,900. So Tim Matchka's property in Lakewood. Allison Van Wig has a listing on 2320 Stanbridge Ave in Long Beach. 4-bed, 2-bath, listed at $895,000. Allison has another listing, 4425 Josie Avenue. So it's on Josie in Lakewood. It's $899,900. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath. And then Charles has a listing in Monrovia, just under $1,998,888, and it's 4-bed, 2-bath. This one's actually fully upgraded. It's gorgeous, very pretty property, right? Jasmine Duran has a listing in Long Beach on Mezzanine Way. So it's $975,000, 3-bed, 2-bath in Rancho Estates. And it is a trust sale. Great. Does anyone have any listing pitches? You guys coming? Whoa, look at that excitement. You guys could have seen her face put her hands in a Penny.
Somebody work with me. I know it. I know all of you are just dying. I have got a beautiful home in Cerritos. Just over 2,700 square feet, 5 bedrooms with 1-bedroom bath downstairs. So it's great for the multi-family living, or you can make it an office. It is all singing, all dancing. They've updated it. It is original owners, but it has been recently updated in like the last 5 and 8 years. The roof, 5 years old. The roof, 5 years old. So all the major things have been taken care of. I did a price adjustment.
So come on, guys, support me. I've got an open house Friday because that is broker tour in Cerritos, and I'd love to see some of you come in and support. We're on at 1275. We will either give closing costs or we'll provide eggs for a year. So come on, guys, egg prices are set to keep going up. So turkey buyers, we're happy to help them. Thank you.
Betty, and then Penny's gonna have to open a whole like roost to cover all these eggs for a year. My God, it's gonna be a racket. It's like gas and milk and everything else. It's crazy. Anyone else? Buyer needs, listing pitches? Simon?
I did a price reduction on a condominium in Redondo Beach. It appraised, we had the seller do an appraisal on it. It appraised at just shy of $1 million. We did a price reduction yesterday. Price is now $939. It is a little dated, but it's a tri-level home. You got the garage, you got the main entrance, and then all the bedrooms upstairs. It's 15 square feet. It's a 2-bedroom, 3-bath. It's 1980 built, and the HOA is $150.
Oh,
Very
tri-level.
So
That's
if
good.
anyone is interested, please reach out. It is on the MLS as well.
Great, Simon. Thank you. I love that.
Can I pitch my mentees listing?
Sure. Yeah, and then Leslie's after.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's on Hope Street in downtown LA. Not an area that I'm truly familiar with, but she has a gorgeous condo. She's just relisting it, but she has dropped, the sellers have adjusted the price accordingly. Just phrase it that way. We'll just use it downtown. I mean, from the pictures, the place is absolutely, just move in ready. The HOA is a little on the higher side, but it's probably an executive that's going to be looking at it. And that's with my mentee. But if you want information, you can always call me and I can give you more. So 562-370-5574. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Penny, and thank you for looking out for your mentee. I love it. Leslie.
So Keith Cost and I have a buyer that's looking for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath plus at least 2,300 square feet. It must have a bedroom and a bathroom, full bathroom downstairs. If it is a 2-story, pool is okay. It absolutely must have a nice kitchen. They love to cook. And we're looking at just under 2 million. So
What areas?
Huntington, sorry.
Huntington. Okay. Huntington Beach.
You have a need.
Yeah, just under 2 million. Again, if you guys are door knocking or farming in Huntington, find those properties right now that would fit and say, we have a potential buyer for your property. Would you be interested in entertaining an offer? Right? Gives you material right there. I love it. Thanks, Leslie. Anyone else? Good to hear. Things are moving. Stuff's coming on the market. Okay. Moving on, leadership. Let's bring our leadership team up here. Simon. You have them in person. I love it. Deborah, Cindy, Deb, why don't you go first?
Sure, I was just looking for. Okay, so a couple things on the calendar, and I'm looking to see because we moved Fritz's class. And maybe you guys can help me on the time. I know it's moved to Wednesday.
3:30.
Is it? Okay, 3:30. I knew it was a 30. So anyway, this is gonna be through spring. So make certain that if you see somebody that's been coming, that you make, give them a heads up. We did change it on the calendar. Yep, there it is. And then a couple other things I have on the calendar that I really want to encourage you to come to. CRMLS is going to be here, excuse me, Monday, January 30th at 10 a.m. Please, he comes here to the office and teaches live. And it's an excellent class. It's one that we need to have people in attendance to keep him coming back. So help me out there by coming, since we've been able to get him to come, and he's willing to come monthly as long as we do have the attendance. Monday, January 30th, and that's going to be at 10 a.m.
I do have a slide too for it.
Oh, cool. Yeah. And then I'm pushing the Tuesday class following, which you probably already have a slide as well, but January 31st, we are going to have a home inspection one-on-one here. So Elite is coming and they're going to be doing the class. It's probably going to be a little over an hour, maybe hour and a half. following the team meeting. So if you've never been out on a home inspection, this is an opportunity for you to be here, listen to what he has to offer. And then the other thing, we were just talking about possible lead gen. At the Thursday broker preview, if you've not been going to those, the 30 meeting on Thursdays over at the Yacht Club, that meeting, they not only pitch their new listings, they have buyer pitches. This is an excellent opportunity for you to go out and door knock neighborhoods looking for sellers who may fit those buyer needs. So make certain that you're taking notes of the agents who have buyers for a particular area and what they are looking for, and get out in those communities and start door knocking. You could get the listing and then call them up and let them know, hey, I've got a listing for your buyer. So that's it.
I love that. Thank you, Deborah. Cindy.
I've been diligently working on your 1099s. I should have them all submitted to our third party by the end of this week, and they'll be mailed out to you. So probably you're looking at maybe about 10 days before you should be receiving them in the mail. Last chance to update your address with me, if you want to get it to your home address. Some of you have put the office down as your address, so check your mailboxes. And like I said, about 10 days before you should be receiving them.
Awesome. Thanks, Cindy. Yay, taxes. Simon.
Can I get everyone to stand up real quick? Let me sit down. Thank you. I want to make sure you pay attention. I just want to touch on what Deborah was saying, the importance of the MLS. We're seeing a spike in violations with the multiple listing service, you know, on agents putting either information, wording, language, not putting a photo, and we're seeing a lot of issues with that. So make sure that you come to these classes. It's important. It's once a month that he comes.
He's gonna be coming.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's something that I'll probably implement in my office because
Yeah.
most of the complaints, or excuse me, not the complaints, but the violations are happening consistent. And I was talking to the team leader up in PB, Zach. He's seen a rapid amount of violations, and also LA Harbor. And I saw a couple, I think, here at this office as well, in South Bay as well. So again, it's important that you take advantage of the classes, ask a lot of questions. With that being said, I want to just kind of touch a little bit on the purchase agreement. Does everyone know section 3, G as in George 3, what that verbiage states and what it is? See?
That's
When you
about
do
the
con-
commission, that's about your
Talks
commission,
about-
you only click that box if you have a signed buyer's rep agreement.
Love it, Penny, you're awesome. We should give her.
Penny gets a ticket. Go.
Yes. Three things that I've been told when I started my career 26 years ago is learn contracts, learn negotiations, and learn objection handlers. Okay, and to this day, it's still the same thing. It's still relevant, just like Keller Williams says, right? Of the Millionaire Real Estate book. What I'm saying is, you know, the contracts are consistently changing. There's 2 update revisions and new contracts that are implemented every year. One is in June, and then the second one is in December. This past December, we had a revision on the purchase agreement, and it's throwing so many curveballs. People are asking, well, what is this new 3G? 3 stand for, what does that mean? Well, what it is, if you check it as a buyer's agent, right? If you check that item, what you're telling the listing agent and the seller is that you do have a buyer representation agreement in place, executed with your buyer, right? When you have a buyer consultation meeting, the first thing, the line of defense is to have a buyer rep, right? What's the importance of having a buyer representation agreement in place? What is that? Commitment? Okay.
And if they go into an open house without you,
Mhm.
they can't switch over to
Yeah.
the listing agent because they think they're gonna get a better deal. They can't, you can possibly still get your commission. It's about procuring cause.
Yeah, at the end, thank you, Penny, again, she gets another one. You know? The importance of having a buyer representation agreement is for that mere fact, is to protect you from a buyer that ultimately cheats on you. It's an assurance, right? that if they go with another agent, they're responsible of paying a commission, and it is. What it states, that the buyer is responsible for paying you a commission. Now, it also has language on there that says that if anyone else other than the buyer pays you a commission, then you're gonna credit the buyer from that compensation. Now, the stipulation that we're seeing issues with this purchase agreement and the buyer representation agreement is what your compensation you are putting as in respect to the buyer paying, right? So if the MLS shows a 2.5%, right? That's typically what we see, right? 2.5, or 3%. The purchase agreement, by checking that, if the buyer and the buyer agent have a 3% compensation, there's a 0.5% discrepancy, right? What you're saying is either to the seller is you're gonna pay me the difference, or the listing agent may be responsible to pay you the difference. When you see that and you are representing the seller, that's a red flag immediately to counter that. Because if you don't, then what's gonna happen is there's an argument that the buyer's agent can say, well, yes, I know that you're paying me a 2.5, but I have a buyer rep that says otherwise, and therefore by checking that, that may start a dispute where now the agent may be able to collect an additional 0.5%. Yeah.
Okay, so Lenny had a question, right? Lenny, you said, has it ever been,
Yeah, have you ever seen that being enforced, like, when that does get violated in terms of the contract, the buyer rep?
Well, there's two components to being enforced. If the agent wants to escalate it, then yes, you can definitely escalate it. I would encourage you to speak with our risk management. They can send a demand letter and we can go through the trenches of mediation. That usually will start the momentum. At least it's like, okay, now it's getting a little serious. Maybe I should, compensate. I can't promise you. I mean, it can go this way, it can go this way. The goal is to at least make an attempt, right? Because buyers are sometimes very challenging and
what away?
they get influenced by other listing agents when they're doing open houses.
Yeah.
So it's just another layer of protection, that it's a commitment, it's an agreement. It's what they call loyalty agreement, but at a higher level. Because now we have some paper trail that we can argue the fact is, look, you signed, you executed, you're responsible. Even if you go with a different agent, I'm entitled to compensation. So.
And then I had a second one. So just for clarity, if you check that box on the RPA, should you include the buyer rep agreement with the offer that you send over?
No. So what happens is when you check that, it automatically triggers another form. And it's similar to the CBC form, the cooperating compensation agreement. Remember when you are trying to negotiate a commission, you see a 1.5% on the MLS, you submit an offer, you can include the CBC form, okay? The compensation agreement form that allows you to ask for a higher commission. What's similar to that, it's not the CBC form, and top of my head, I can't remember the name of it, but play with it, check it, and it populates a separate new form that comes in, and that's where you'll see the language in there.
Great, thank you. Thank you,
I
Simon.
have two questions. One is I don't recall the name of the form, but the buyer representation form, the letters. But anyway, that form now, when you pull it up, it has the agency disclosure, it has the wire fraud, it has, all of it. So someone was asking the other day, when I pull up the RPA packet, do I have to have them sign all of those documents again? Or do they, the second question, or do they need to sign them when they sign that agency agreement?
Now, what happens is with the new buyer representation agreement, it automatically triggers the agency, the possible representation agreement, the discriminatory
Fair housing,
thank you. And then also the wire
fraud.
So if you have those already in place, when you submit an offer, you don't have to include all the other ones. You can just include the ones from the previous one.
Perfect.
Now, the question I'm getting is, and this was a question that just came in, and I won't take too much of the time, but was that on the wire fraud, it says to put a physical address. Well, if you're doing a consulting appointment, right, and having them sign a buyer representation agreement, you don't have an address to put. So what do? So just put What's that?
Any address, that's what Lenny said. In at home addresses.
We tried to like, to be determined, it didn't work. So here's the little secret that kind of works. Put 4 little stars on the address and that helps you continue with the problem. So that's my little
Thank
insight.
you.
Last question, you were talking about contracts, the changes, the importance, et cetera. We don't have contracts on our training calendar, do we?
We do. So every Tuesdays at 2 p.m., you know.
Give her a ticket.
So yes, every Tuesdays at 2 p.m. I host and do the contract class. We go through a series of different topics. Today, I believe it's option agreements.
Yep.
So please jump on and, you know, if you have any questions regarding options. So every Tuesday, 2 p.m.
Awesome. Round of applause for our leadership team. Hey guys, it's almost coming. Family reunion. It is not too late to get your tickets to go. We have really fun things planned between dinners and meetups. And now there's a lot of agents doing special little brunches and things on top of that outside of this now for networking. So just make sure that you guys go and get registered. If you need help, you just joined, etc., go talk to Cindy. She can make sure that everything gets all in alignment with what we need to do and get you to family reunion because it's so important. Fritz is there. I don't know if we need to register just because we need to see Fritz, but that's a thing.
I have a real quick comment. You may go onto Facebook. You may see that somebody has tickets, rooms for sale. They can't make it. Be very, very careful.
Right.
Because there are scammers out there. So just make certain that you look into it and Leslie ran into it. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I ran into this yesterday, actually. Somebody said they couldn't make it. They were selling their ticket, right? Of course, they just wanted to offload it, so they're willing to negotiate a little bit. Something struck me as odd when, you know, they initially said, you know, oh, I can accept this payment or my partner can accept this payment. And when I chose the first, they tried to push me to the second. So I actually Googled this agent who is in another state, Googled the agent, called her based on what the office site said. And sure enough, somebody had cloned her account. So she wasn't hacked. Somebody had cloned her account and was trying to collect funds for a bogus family reunion ticket. So
Do your research.
Cindy, I thought those weren't transferable.
They are.
Oh, they are. Okay. Okay.
that was the other thing. That was the other thing. They told me that they needed, you know, like my KW ID, they needed, you know, all that information so that they could transfer the ticket. So like, I don't know if that's the process in transferring a ticket, but they certainly seemed like they knew what they were talking about, that, you know, this would have to be transferred through our internal system.
I would suggest going to the market center and having the MCA transfer.
Right. Yeah.
Now, if they're a MAPS client, they get their ticket for free and they may also be part of the sales process. So if you've got a question on that and they claim to be, you know, a MAPS client, what have you, let me run that up against our information and see if they can even have the right to sell that ticket.
Because yeah, those aren't transferable. I do know that. The free maps ones are not transferable. Yeah.
They can be transferred to someone on their team. And so
Oh,
who
okay.
knows?
Yeah,
what-
maybe.
Here that now becomes an opportunity to, you know, sell it to one of you.
Yeah.
The other thing that I also found out is on Monday, no, I'm sorry, was that Friday, the agenda has come out. So I will, I did this, every office I've been in is I will do another class on just the agenda itself. I know most of the speakers, I know most of the panelists. You know, I may even be in that mix at some point. I always go to all the database ones. So if you've got a debate about which ones you want to go to, I can direct you where to go. You want to walk into that convention hall with a plan. If you sit there and are looking at the agenda board, you might as well just go back home. There's too many things to choose from and too many on the spot decisions. Some rooms fill up and there's hundreds of people outside and you didn't get there early enough. I'll kind of guide you around that. I don't think we're going to have sellout rooms, but it's happened in the past, depending on the speaker and the topic. And all you do is you just take your lunch there and you eat the front row. That's how you circumvent that process. But I'll kind of give you an idea on that. We'll do that, you know, a week or so before the event.
I love that. Thank you,
Okay.
Fritz. Okay, let's bring up our affiliate partners. Come on up here, you guys. Yay. Since Sarah is walking up with lots of charge today, she'll go first.
Oh. I was like, I have nothing in my hands.
You were like, and lots of focus.
Yeah.
You'll go first.
Good morning, everyone. Just a heads up, like, I don't know if you guys have had like investors or buyers come along. I've had a few things come up that's just very strange. I don't know if this is something that's going on or happening, like investors learning how to become investors through YouTube.
Yep.
Or like these seller carryback transactions that buyers are trying to do, like to become an investor. Where I had somebody, he was a notary that we've used, he has his real estate license and he wants to do seller carrybacks, but not pay the seller any money for 6 months because he wants to sell it in the 6 months to make a profit, but also assume the loan that's on the seller's property, but not like buy the proper paperwork from the bank. Because typically when you sell the property, the loan is due on sale. Like there's a clause in the deed of trust that it's due. So like those investors or people who do that take the risk of the bank calling to say, oh, loan's due, we saw you transfer title. I don't know if that's a new thing that's coming up. I've had it. You had that twice? Okay, yeah, I've seen it happen. So just be careful. Like make sure like you do your due diligence to weigh liability, responsibility if something goes wrong, or if you're doing a seller carryback and something happens to the seller, God forbid, that it's all protected and there's proper verbiage. So just keep an eye out. I mean, I started to kind of look it up myself and I found this like 6-minute video of this guy like teaching people how to do this in 6 minutes. And it's like, there's all these comments of people, this is great, there's so much information on this, and it's so scary because I mean, there's so much risk. So just be careful, things I've noticed.
But when that happened though, does the bank really call the loan?
Yes. So yes, the bank,
I know
if
the
they,
insurance, in case that does happen.
yeah, there's a lot of things that could trigger the bank to find out that the property's transfer title and they can call the loan due. And then that buyer, hopefully, it's still in the seller's name, that they're not going through the proper channels to try to assume it, like, banks don't typically do that though, but just keep an eye out if you have someone doing seller carryback or these weird creative financing things. If you have questions, please let me know. I'm happy to help you or go through it with you so you can kind of bounce back like what I would question. Like I'm super big on like liability, responsibility. We don't want to end up in any lawsuits, right? So it's better to be safe than sorry. So I'm happy to help if you guys have questions on that. But taxes are coming due February 1st. I still have a lot of people calling about taxes, supplementals. If you guys have questions on that, please let me know. If you need closing statements, I mean, if you have any sellers, buyers, anyone who closed escrow within the last year, they're going to need it for taxes. It's a good touch to your clients. If you have any questions, if I can help you, please let me know.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. Remember, see them down the hallway, right outside. I love it. Doug.
Right. Good morning. Good morning.
Good
Sarah
morning.
does a great job also too for taxes. It's important when you're closing a transaction that a lot of times when the people are paying their taxes through impound, they're not showing up till the very, very last second. So just communicate with escrow and title so we can make sure that we're not holding money for your seller, but sometimes it's necessary. So today what I want to talk about, a couple little things. Wasn't sure if you guys knew, but WFG is the 6th largest title insurance company in the country in terms of underwriting. And there's a little chart here on interest rates, which I'm sure Alice will talk about, but this is just a history of it. And the only reason I'm bringing that out to you is because we're going to have a class coming up on the 24th. And it's going to be different lead sources. And these lead sources are going to be people that can sell that aren't interest rate sensitive, right? So there are sellers that aren't moving right now because they've got a low rate and they have to buy with a much higher rate, right? But there are sellers that aren't interest rate sensitive, meaning there's other reasons they could sell. So what we're going to do in the class, we're going to give you probably about 7 to 10 different lead sources that we can get through our software and through our farm department. And then I'm also going to go through scripts, what scripts you use, and also what marketing material you could use with them. We're not going to give you the flyer, we're just going to show them to you so you can see the content. But instead of just giving you the data or just giving you a website or sending you data, we're going to show you the different categories of people, and then also what kind of scripts you could use, and we talk about that a little bit, and then also what kind of marketing material you could send to them. So if you guys want to come on by that, we'd love to have you the 24th. And we're all about service. So if you see on a flyer, we've got Michael on the flyer. He can help you at any time. Also, we have Lisa, who's on our flyer here. What she does is she monitors all the emails. So anytime Sarah calls, anytime the lender calls, anytime something's working on a transaction, there's somebody monitoring everything that's going on in your transaction, so you have the best possible service. So anything we can do to help you, just let us know.
I love that. Thank you, guys. Alex. We love it.
Mortgage Minute. Alex here in Ant Financial. We have our rates populated here. Rates are on a little bit of a trend downward since even last week when Mike was up in front. So I know he talked about what drive interest rates. The thing last week he said that was really important in the newswire was the consumer price index, CPI. That's what people like us are paying for a bag of goods. This week is the producer price index, which is what big producers are selling those goods for. It also is going to have a big market impact. The report comes out tomorrow. It isn't expected that the cost of things people are selling are going down, which is a good thing for us, meaning that inflation is starting to get handled a little bit better by the increase of interest rates by the Fed. I personally don't think that rates are going to go down much more. In my world, I think we're kind of like a floor of around 5%. You see where conventional rates at 5.75. This is better than the 6.48 that Doug has put on here, right? So we have seen a bit of a trend down, okay? And this is nice. My phone has been ringing a lot more this January 9th week, right? After everyone kind of got back. Maybe rates are helping that, maybe just, you know, kids back to school. But I feel like there's a little bit of momentum going on in the last week or so. Rates are helping, okay? We have jumbo rates. This is a jumbo 30-year fix. We have jumbo ARMs, adjustable rates in the mid-5s for people that are really qualified, high credit, 20% down payment, non-self-employed style clients. So keep that in mind. It's not just a blanket 6% there. There's a lot of options. Both Mike and I have, you know, a plethora of different rates, different programs, different down payments. We teach classes every month on the different styles of loans, FHA, conventional. So we're here to help. We really want the momentum to keep going at the start of the year here. That's all I got. Yeah.
Alex, I just want to point out, because I had some questions about this last week. Remember, the rate that they're getting on their pre-qualification or pre-approval or their underwritten approval isn't locked in until you get into escrow and you lock the rate,
Correct.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. So when you're going around and helping your clients and you're shopping and they have a pre-approval, if it's been, you know, almost 90 days usually, I mean, how long do your pre-approvals, like 90 days?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Basically what I say for my pre-approvals is that if you keep your job and you pay your bills on time, the pre-approval is pretty sound. That's now a little bit different because all of these clients that we have now are right at the max, right? Like every deal for some reason that I'm doing today is like 49.9% debt to income ratio, or there's some quirky thing, right? Like the rosy borrowers that we had over the 2020 and 2021 are not there anymore for us. So everything is really tight. So it's even more of an important thing to continue to influence your borrowers to reach back out to us, say, hey, have rates updated? Luckily, we've had a trend downward. So the impact on people's debt to income ratios is beneficial, right? But if we see a spike in rates and I have someone that's at 49.9 debt to income ratio and you're still hunting for the same price house, that loan doesn't work anymore. We have to do an FHA loan, or we have to do some sort of, hop, skip, and a jump to figure out how to get them to qualify. So I would, encourage every 15, 20 days. Yeah. I send my clients a spreadsheet that's dynamic in Excel that they can go in and plug in the new rates. And I just tell them, hey, this is what the rates are this week, so that they can see how it impacts their payment.
Very cool.
And it's really helpful. It shows them what their payment is. It shows what their closing costs are. And they can plug in 750 or 690 or 780, and it just auto populates for them. So I think that that's really important, like that's eliminating the surprise. And that's what people get so, upset about. If we throw a curveball surprise at them, that's when our reputation gets a little, shattered. So keep the surprises to a minimum, have them get updated by Mike and I, every 15, 20, 30 days at the most. And we're here to help.
I love that. Thank you, Alex. Okay, let's take a look at what's on the calendar. So 11:30 today, the very first Mighty Mastermind that's happening here in the bullpen. Again, that is open to agents who have done 3 transactions or more in their career. That's happening today at 11:30, and we're going to mastermind around good ways to lead generate, what's working, what's not working. It's going to be a wonderful collaboration or group. Again, only open to agents who've done 3 or more transactions. We have our 20% club. Those invitations have been sent out. Everyone that qualified should have received an invitation. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Again, that's happening off-site for the top 20% of the brokerage, where you guys are going to get stuff that's very high level. We're going to do a little breakout. It's going to be a great time. Simon talked a little bit about contracts, right? So that's happening today from 2 to 3 o'clock. Talking about options and contracts and really understanding that. Script and role play still happening Wednesdays from 11 to 12. I think Alex walked. Oh, there you are. Yep, right. You, Mike, this week?
It's me.
It's you. Okay, good. Any comments about what you're going to be going over? Or
Honestly, last time we just had one person come out for the script portion. But luckily, we had a couple of veteran agents in there, and we just did a roundtable conversation on a little bit of goals for 2023, a little bit of open house help. So I don't right now have the exact script. I'm just going to kind of play it by ear and see what kind of turnout we get. But it was super helpful for Darwin and Drake and Mario and I to just kind of hear all the different ends, all the different people's goals for 2023 and what we were looking to do. And the HUDs came up, like send your clients your closing statement. Huge thing that some agents don't do, and that was one of Drake's huge points. Like that's another touch that we get to do.
I love that.
So
again, don't miss out, you guys. It's for all agents, whether you're new, producing, come and practice your scripting, since we know that's going to be so important. Mastering the RPA, we do have that session this Wednesday before the mentee meeting that's happening right afterwards. So make sure you guys come for that. We're going to have something fun and special planned. Fritz's coaching session, again, reminder, it's now Wednesdays at 3:30. I'm going to see y'all show up here on Thursdays, and you're going to be really bummed because you're going to have to wait a whole another week to get to see Fritz, right? So that's happening at 3:30. Again, a reminder, monthly mentee meeting happening this Wednesday from 1 to 2, right after the RPA session. If you're in our mentee program, this is a non-negotiable. Make sure you come and you participate, because we're going to be going over a lot of really good stuff that's going to be value for you above and beyond what you're getting from your mentor. Jason has his What's the Hype and talking about commercial real estate that's happening at 1 o'clock on the 23rd of this month. Doug talked a little bit about, there you are, prospect and target marketing. This is so important right now. Really learning how you can be able to help leverage your affiliate partners to be able to help lead generate. That's happening January 24th from 11:30 to 12:30 with Doug and his team. Mike is hosting a class. You guys heard his announcement last week. Basically how to maximize efficiency with your Apple products. If you are an Apple user, MacBook, iPhone, iPad, etc., make sure you go to this, because let me tell you, he teaches me things all the time, and I'm very techie myself, that's going to help improve your proficiency and help get things done a lot quicker. So make sure you attend that class January 26th at 2 p.m. And then I know we do have Allison on the call. Allison, do you want to introduce this class that you've opened up to our office?
Yeah, Nick Spone is, I met him through actually a few years ago, and he's also part of M1, a mastermind I'm in. And he is amazing. So I joined his metamorphosis a year and a half ago, I think, and the shift in my body and my health and my mindset I attribute it to him, because he helps you get in rapport with your subconscious, and you also learn to get into rapport with other people, which is really good for when you're on a listing agreement or with any kind of client. So he is amazing. And he's a hypnotist. So he's not going to make you cluck like a chicken. But he did I went to 2 of his events last year and he did melt my hand into the table. So it's kind of cool. He puts you into a trance, and that's when you're open to suggestions, and you can tell yourself you're a multimillionaire when you're in those trances. So highly recommend. He's just made an amazing shift in my life. And so I wanted to share him with everyone.
Awesome, thank you. And again, he's an NLP coach. Does anyone know what NLP stands for? Neuro-linguistic programming, right? So it's the study of brain function and how it correlates with the successes and our mindsets and behaviors. And it's literally a reprogramming of your brain. So someone who's certified to coach this has gone through many, many different things to be able to get here. So this guy is very, very talented to be able to have that on and to be able to promote that. So thank you, Allison. I appreciate you. That is January 27th, Friday at 11 a.m.
He will be in the office in Coastal, but I think we're doing a Zoom for the other 2 offices.
Yeah,
So
no cost to the agents, right?
what?
Is there a cost?
No.
No cost.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thanks, Allison.
I'll be there.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Okay, Deb talked a little bit about CRMLS Essentials. That's happening again the 30th in person with Rudy here at Coastal. Home Inspection 101, learning what a home inspection is, learning how to read a report, how to talk to our clients about it. That's important. So I saw the little book club crew in the office. Alice, Donna. Great. So book club. Do you guys want to talk about this, Donna, Alice?
Yeah, it's Loving What Is, and it's Byron Katie, one of the most life-changing books ever. Basically, with 4 questions, you can get over any grudge you've got.
I love that.
So any people you're pissed off at forever and all that kind of stuff, you can flip it around, and it's kind of amazing. It's very simple but very deep.
Great.
It's a great
It's an
book.
eye-opener.
And
It's an eye-opener.
Anyone who's carrying the grudge, not necessarily.
Yeah, I love that.
So yeah.
Good. Thank you, ladies. Yeah, so join the book club, you guys. It's so fun. A good way to read 12 books a year. And it's always very good discussion. I really love it. Whether you love the book or you hate it, it's always a very good collaboration and discussion about what we could learn, what we did like about it, what we didn't like about it. So make sure you guys come and attend. If you have any questions, feel them our way. Okay, I know this is coming next month, but there's 2 things that we want to start promoting a little bit early. Build your international referral network. So Janet Darrow is going to have KW Portugal come on and join us Monday, February 13th from 10 to 11 a.m., where we can learn a little bit more about Portugal and some of the properties that they may have there, again, to be able to connect your clients with someone. So let's learn about another country together, and I think it's going to be a very good time. Speaking of Janet has put together something that is very exciting and that we have never done here yet. And that's going to be a luxury field trip where it's going to be happening over at the Faucets and Fixtures over in the Marina Pacifica. She has set up a private appointment and a showing where the representative over there is going to go through all of the features that a luxury client is looking for. So as you're working with your luxury clients and walking through these properties, you're going to be able to identify things like specific water fixtures, specific faucets in there, specific lighting fixtures that might be in a property. Why is something worth more money than others? What are maybe some features that you don't know about it? So as you're walking your clients through this property, you can point out things that make it very special, right? So make sure you guys put this on your calendar. It's going to be a blast. Again, Faucets and Fixtures over at the Marina Pacifica. That's happening on 2/27 at 10 a.m. in person. I know it's like 4 hours, I think, right? I
don't remember how long.
Yeah. So make sure you guys can block some good chunk of time. So I love that. Okay, lastly, the award ceremony, save the date, February 14th. Invitations are going to be going out to those who qualify to be able to receive an award. It's going to be exciting, but again, put Valentine's Day in there and also put /award ceremony in your calendar invite. And that's it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you being here. Don't forget, Mastermind happening at 11:30. Bye, Zoomies.
Oh, what up? I'm doing that.